2, 1, go. One wave.
We have the Malaysia effect. We can't put a finger on it, but this country's got it right. From the people to the land to the balance to the approach that they have with their religion, with each other. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about living in Malaysia. And believe me, you're going to want to hear this.
Okay, and we are rolling. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast on moving to Malaysia. In today's podcast, we will be discussing all things Malaysia and how it might look like if you were to make the big move to this beautiful country.
Absolutely. So first of all, where is Malaysia? Malaysia is in Southeast Asia, and it shares borders with Indonesia and Brunei, and also with Thailand.
The maritime boundaries are also with Vietnam and the Philippines. You are also towards the south, you have Australia, and you're probably looking at around 15 hours flight time from the UK. So you have to bear that in mind, of course.
Absolutely. I've got to say 15 hours, but then you know what you have to do? You most probably will go from the UK to Dubai, maybe do a stop over there, spend 2-3 days there. Yeah, however long you want to, 2-3 days. Normally you get a stop over there, and then take on the next flight and do the next 6 to 7 hours from Dubai to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Now Kuala Lumpur is at the major international airport of Malaysia, and many people use it as a hub, a central hub to travel all across Asia and also to Australia too. So you can very easily travel to Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, Philippines, Australia, and also to Dubai. So it's really
even
amazing.
the islands. Malaysia is full of amazing tropical islands.
The islands is something else, absolutely.
Yeah, we actually went to what was it, Langkawi. We went to Langkawi for a few days, and it was absolutely beautiful. And it's really nice because you get such a nice contrast between the city life that Kuala Lumpur offers you and the island life which Langkawi offered us. And there's plenty of islands to explore here, which is one of the amazing parts about Malaysia, and we'll get into that later on. Just to give you an idea, a brief history of Malaysia, it was actually colonized by the Brits. Yeah, so the British were here in the 18th and 19th century, and actually not too long ago, it achieved its independence, 1957.
That's right, 1957. So you could imagine the British have left their mark in Malaysia well and truly. Mm-hmm. And you can see that in the road systems, you can see that in the legal systems, you can see it in their parliament, and you can also see it in some of the way their houses are designed, really? With sloping, red slated roofs, semi-detached properties, and in some areas where we drove, you'd think you were actually in parts of London. So literally, it looked so British, and in one sense we felt, oh, this is just like home.
Even in Langkawi, in the island, we were on a tropical island, but they still had some streets that looked like you were in the UK, which we found actually quite nice. You don't really feel that homesick. You don't feel that far away from home. So it is nice to have that sense of home somewhere so far away from home. So that's refreshing. It's really nice to see that here. You also see the diversity in the people as well. So just how you have Brits that look like us, you have Malays that are from different parts of the world. So you have Malays that are Chinese, ethnically originally, and you might have Malays that are, of course, local, and Malays that might be from Indian descent. So it is a hot pot of not only food cuisine, but also people as well.
And the different cultures. And what we found here is that all the cultures seem to have integrated really well, and they're all living in harmony. All their cultures are celebrated together, and they're all respectful of each other's religion. So really, it's like say it's great mix, and they all seem to get on well. They're integrated really well. It's amazing.
It's an example of how the world can be. Really, once you really after I got here, you start to see and compare, of course, and you realize, like, hold on a minute, Malaysia's got something right. I can't put my finger on it because there's so many places and so many, let's say, facets where when you start looking at it, you're like, hold on a minute, they've got it right. from respect to let's say assimilation, like getting on with it, right? Respecting each other's beliefs and working together like in harmony, and it's really beautiful to see that here. So, you know.
I would have to say that's it. They're living in harmony. Absolutely. Living in harmony, and a prime example of living in harmony, actually.
Yeah.
Okay? So, moving on.
Moving on to like, how would that look if you were to move here? You know, and if you compare it to other places, Malaysia is a prime example of a location that is ideal for families. We've been around and we've seen, for example, other countries, and Malaysia really sets a prime example of how you might want to, where you might want to raise your children, because it really is family friendly. Children are everywhere, and not only that, there's a lot of things to do for the kids. All right, from the mountains to the sea to the jungles to the rainforests to the islands.
Absolutely, I've got to say, when it rains over here, because it does rain, and it's not like in the UK when you know it's going to rain. You see dark clouds coming across from yonder, and you think, oh my God, it's going to pour down with rain, and that gives you a signal. But over here, you know, the clouds, you know, they're not going to give you any signals. It's just going to chuck it down with rain, you know, and even then, maybe just for 5 to 10 minutes, a big downpour, and then it will just stop, and then the sun comes out. Really beautiful.
The weather stays the same, pretty much the same throughout the year, so you're not looking at major fluctuation, whereas you have seasons in the UK, and in Dubai it gets really hot. They're like the summer months, the dry months, or like it's really extreme heat, and you don't really get that here. It stays stable for the most part, so you get the same kind of weather all year round, which is really nice. You know. Now that goes on to our next question. So we know that from what we've gathered here, it really is a beautiful place to live, to raise children, and even to practice your faith, right? Islamic, I think 60% of Malaysians are Muslim, and you see that everywhere, from the halal options, halal signs, to even their political perspective regarding situation, like the major supporters of Palestine. You see Palestinian flags around, which is of course nice to see, because you see that support from this country. Also, it's a haven for food lovers. You know, so if you're really into international cuisine, if you're into Korean food, let's say Japanese food, Oriental food, and South Asian food, you are in the best place, and you're getting bang for your buck, guys.
Absolutely. On the food side, even if any restaurant you go into, and if you ask them, do you have a halal certificate? You know, can you show it to us, or do you have a halal certificate displayed? They will even say to you, well, actually, all the meat is halal, everything is halal, but because we serve, wait for it, because we serve alcohol in this restaurant, we are not allowed to display the halal certificate. But all our food is halal. And I just thought that was really great that they were able to clearly, you know, specify that to you, so you could make an informed decision about whether you wanted to eat there or not eat there, you know. And but most places it will tell you that whether the food is halal, not halal. So alhamdulillah, that's really great. Gives you peace of mind when you come on holiday here, or if you decide to move here. You know that halal food is not going to be an issue for you.
Health and safety wise, also it's got really good healthcare system here, and also you have public and private options. You can even take out insurance policies. The insurance plans are okay when you compare them to other parts of the world. They're very affordable. And in general, it's safe. It's a safe place to be. So if you are thinking about bringing your wife or your sisters or your daughters, safety is a big thing here. So you don't need to worry about that. It might not be the exact same as a place like Dubai, but you still have that sense of safety here. Infrastructure, in terms of transport, the transport system is really good in Kuala Lumpur. The train system is good. Bus system is okay. You can pretty much get around Kuala Lumpur very easily if you even take a Grab.
Absolutely. So when it comes to transport, it's very simple. You just download the Grab application on your mobile phone works very similar to your Uber app in the UK or Korean, and you just download it and you just specify exactly where you want to go, and it's going to tell you the price, how long it's going to take for the cab to come, and that's it. They'll give you all the details of the driver, so there's also safety there as well, and many warnings depending on if you're a vulnerable person or not, where you need to specify to the driver that you're a vulnerable person, and also all the rides are tracked. So safety is paramount even within the Grab system, because I'm sure people in the early days were worried about Uber in the UK. But here Grab works very well, and Grab is cheaper than the normal metered taxis. Okay, it's also got a very good public transport network when it comes to the tubes and the monorails.
Amazing.
You can get around really fast, and for really, it's so cheap. You know?
Your money goes a
So
long
cheap.
way here. The average Khalid or the average Joe here, yeah, is living like a king in a sense, yeah. For example, let's just say you're earning £1,500, which is equivalent of, let's say, a 7,000 to 8,000 ringgit a month salary, right? You can get that as an English teacher here potentially. You're basically at the top. You're on the top 20% in terms of earners in this place, right? So that £1,500 that you're probably earning in the UK stretches a lot further here. And that's something we have to really consider, because that opens up a lot of opportunities for you to live the life that you probably never would dream of in the UK. I'm just thinking about what we've done during these holidays.
No, exactly. I mean, there's so many options. You know, even if you think about, and we'll cover this again in due course. Is you could, for example, rent out your house, your property. Nowadays, rental income now is about 1,500, 1,200 to 1,500, maybe for a semi-detached house, okay, in the UK. Please tell me if it's something different, depending on the size of your house. But 1,200, 1,500, you're getting income rental, and that's for you. And then you can easily live here for rent an apartment or a house for £500 a month.
Oh, max.
Beautiful apartment for £500 a month.
I've been told 350, 400 in some parts of Kuala Lumpur.
And
nice
that's
house.
it. And then you've got just food, cost of living,
which is very
transport.
Very minimal, guys.
I think you could very easily have a decent life, decent holiday for a couple of months, even for £1,000 a month.
Really.
Yeah.
I think it's the quality of life, guys, that we should be aiming at. Don't think about the numbers, yeah, because that's something that we tend to fall into sometimes, because the numbers are subject to where you are, right? But if you're in the UK, you need that salary because your expenses are far more, but here, it's relative, right? You might be earning £1,500, but your expenses aren't that much, right? But again, of course, it depends, because that makes the question like, okay, what will you do in terms of building here? Because are there work opportunities? Is this the best place to build your life? Because the gist that I get, right, is it's amazing, really, right now, from the people to the culture, to the safety. So many pros, which we obviously talked about, but one concern that I have is, as young, let's say, as a young person who's planning on coming here, what will you do to earn your income? Are you going to work for that salary? Because you can probably earn more in the UK maybe. So that's something we need to obviously understand before you make that decision, that a lot of young Malays are leaving. Yeah. That's
one of the issues here. Young Malays here are leaving Malaysia, leaving Kuala Lumpur, and they're coming to other countries. Like, for example, they're going to Dubai.
Because the average Malay salary was, we saw so many adverts, guys.
2,500
ringgits a month.
Yeah,
so
2,500. This is like a cashier's job in Aeon, equivalent of Tesco's or Waitrose, for example. So you're earning about 2,000, 2,500. Senior management, senior manager of a retail store would be about what?
We saw 5,000. I saw in that restaurant that we went to.
Yeah, so 5 to 7,000, for senior positions like a senior chef, because food is obviously a big thing. Yeah.
If you want, you can probably just do an IELTS course. We can talk about it more. If you want an IELTS course, do a few English language courses, a CELTA or a Delta, and then you can even potentially come here as a native English speaker with that course and look for some English teaching jobs. Earn around 7,000 ringgits a month, which will put you in the top 20% of earners. But again,
I think that is the biggest issue. Is if I complete the point about the Malays leaving Kuala Lumpur and going outside because they want to build a future for themselves. They're in that stage of their life where they want to build, earn as much money as they can, and create a form of security. If, for example, they leave Kuala Lumpur, they're outside, they'll be earning 3 to 4 times more than what they'd be earning if they're in KL. And then with that income which they're earning abroad, many Malays and some I know, who are close friends, they work abroad and they have purchased properties in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, and then they have put them out on rent. And so for that they're getting rental income, or they're buy-to-let properties, so they're paying off the home loans. And so at some point when the property market does hit a boom,
which I really
which is going to happen,
I'm
pretty sure,
you can see it.
right? When that boom occurs, then these Malays who are outside the countries are going to be in a very good, strong position economically. But that's just the reason why they're leaving, because they're leaving to work outside to build their economic futures, because they can't really build an economic future working in the KL. They're just going to get by. Would you agree?
Yeah, completely. Okay. One more question. In terms of practicing your faith as a Muslim, perhaps, do you feel that this place is a good option for that?
I think that all faiths here, from what I've seen, are allowed to practice their religion freely and happily. They have their temples, they have their Buddhist temples, they have their, you obviously you have so many mosques. Every single mosque is either a historical mosque or a brand new mosque, and it's been designed with purpose. And in all the mosques, and we visited many mosques while we were here, in all the mosques what we saw was that the mosque is the center of the community. Would you agree? The communities are built around the mosque, and I don't think any of the children who I saw were happier being there. It's like that is the place they wanted to be.
There wasn't a weird
in
feeling, guys.
the mosque.
There wasn't this weird feeling of you come in, you be quiet, it's strict, you cannot see your mom or your sisters, they have to go to one side, hidden away, much more open. And it feels like a place where you can gather even after prayers, from correct me if I'm wrong, but just letting this noise go. But of course, it feels like it's the heart of the community, and it's so nice to see people get together and just relax in the masjid.
But they were so respectful. Everyone was so respectful. I saw I saw a young. I met a brother, and he introduced me to his daughter, who was maybe about 3 years old, and I was so taken aback. I thought, okay, let's give some Eid to the child, and the father approved, and I handed some Eid to the child, and the child immediately took my little hand, and she just kissed my hand.
Did it to me as well.
And that was I just was shocked. I was like, it was so respectful.
It's the culture.
I didn't expect it.
They took my camera in the island when I was in the island, and the boys were playing around with it. But obviously they were very respectful. They gave me the camera, and they all kissed my hand as well. And it was so nice to see that. You really feel like you're part of this community that embraces everyone. And you know what? It doesn't feel like you're from here, so you're different to us. No, it just feels like everyone comes together. Everyone's happy where they're from. All right, they're proud of where they're from. They wear their own dresses, their own national dresses or clothing, and
they are so proud of their national.
They match it, by the way, guys. It's all
matching
pretty
colours,
cool.
you know, for him and her, and for the kids. That was amazing to see as well. Absolutely.
I think I've got a clip, and I'll play that clip for when I was walking around the masjid, and you can see how beautiful it is. We'll play it now.
Guys, subhanAllah, look at the atmosphere. Look at the children running around. Everyone wearing their national clothes. You know, it's so beautiful to see so many different faces and people proud, showcasing where they're from. You know, families together, running around. You know, spouses together. SubhanAllah, it's such a beautiful thing. Really, really, this has. You feel like there's this oneness in this one community. SubhanAllah, it's really a beautiful Islam here. Just take a look. Kids playing around, families together, talking, relaxed, chilled. You know, sometimes you go to places and it's almost a scary thing. Like they want you to pray and go straight away. You know, so SubhanAllah, it's so nice. People are enjoying the masjid. But even in when I was in the islands, the masjid is this place where you get together. It's the epicenter of the community. It's the heart of the community, and you really do feel that here. SubhanAllah.
Overall, what are your final thoughts?
I think if people are seriously interested in moving out of the UK or Canada or anywhere else in the world and are looking for a second home, somewhere else to transition to, then I would say you should have Malaysia on your list. Okay, maybe with a few other countries, but Malaysia should definitely be on your list. And always come here for, I would say, at least come for minimum a 14-day holiday.
Yeah, minimum.
Split it between 4 to 5 days on an island, for example, like Langkawi. You know, right bang in the middle of the tropical forest.
Get a return ticket. Don't get a free stop ticket. Get a return ticket.
Absolutely. Get a return ticket to Kuala Lumpur and then purchase your domestic flights from Kuala Lumpur to the island.
AirAsia.
Okay. Absolutely. And once you're here, so minimum 14 days, spend 4 to 5 days on an island, and the remaining 7 to 8 days spend it in Kuala Lumpur and get an experience of that. Visit the mosques, visit the towns, the markets, see the vibe, and just come to some form of a decision that yes, you like this. Maybe then you can start to imagine that maybe you can see yourself here. Maybe you can see your children here.
Yeah.
If you are already in a position where you are earning an online income, and you can earn that online income from anywhere in the world, for sure, you can come over here. If you're worried about disruption to your children's education, even for a couple of months, 3 months, whatever, don't worry about that.
That's why we're here, guys.
Start looking at homeschooling.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Your child's education, by the way. That a lot of parents say we can't move because the children are settled. We're settled. No, you can move. Right now, you have options, guys. You have homeschooling. We offer homeschooling classes, right? That means you can learn from wherever you are. Your child, all he needs or she needs is access to the internet and a normal, safe learning space, right? So that's it. That space can be anywhere, right? So we can move. We are not stuck, guys. We are not stuck, parents. Yeah, we can move if we want to, and we should. We should see the world. That's where the real learning takes place for yourself and for your child. Your quality of life can be better. I feel like we forget what's on the other side because we're so used to living the same life in the UK. We don't see what's out. Why do you think a lot of people that leave the UK don't come back? I can't really go back to the UK just because I've seen the quality of life outside, and it's important to understand that, guys.
And I think the kids will have a total different learning experience. It'll be a huge paradigm shift in how learning takes place and should take place, and they will enjoy the learning experience, and then you'll be wishing that you'd done that a heck of a long time ago.
Yeah,
for sure.
If you want to keep up with updates regarding moving to Malaysia, subscribe to our channel. Also, we have a community chat going on WhatsApp. There's loads of us there. You can talk to us whenever you want, and fellow homeschooling parents who are also who also have moved, made that decision, or who are thinking about moving, or who are perhaps on the fence. So we have that community, and we're working on building a community of like-minded people who are on the same mission, on the same goal of living that life, and we can do it together. So follow us on our socials and spread the word, and let's get going, guys. I think it's time we put this plan to action, right? So that's it.
Put the plan into action, and let's see where it can take you, inshallah.
Okay. All right, see you next time, guys.
See you. Bye bye.
I think that's a really good